The Last of Us 2 isn't that bad, guys. Calm down. I've held this idea for a while now, not that you can't have a negative opinion on this game, but rather that there are way too many people that over-exaggerate it to a ludicrous degree that just baffles me. The reason I didn't make a video previously is because I just didn't really want to. Not because I don't want to get political or anything in my videos. I don't care about doing that. I'll do it right now. Joe Biden is an epic gamer and Trump is a doo-doo head. I just didn't feel like making a video about it. And if I don't want to make a video on something, then I'm not gonna. That's just how I run this channel. I only make videos for things I'm really passionate about. So I don't necessarily plan out what my next video will be about. I just have fun expressing my opinion and talking about stuff I'm very passionate about. So, I'm sure you are wondering why I'm bringing this up if I'm not passionate about it. And I'd imagine you probably already know that means I recently found something that ignited that passion within me. The thing I saw, or watched, was Angry Joe's Top 10 Worst Games of 2020 video.
This one actually smells pretty good.
The conclusion being that Last of Us 2 was on his worst games of 2020 list. Now, I'm not going to go out there and just say, oh, you can't do that, Last of Us 2 was a masterpiece undeserving of being on worst games lists. I loved Last of Us 2, but I'm not that kind of person to just say, well, you're wrong, if you have a different opinion than me. Nah, the problem I have is that of the placement on his list, it's kinda cringe. Go ahead, guess where it is. I'll give you a hint, it's not 5 or lower. Well, you may have guessed number 1, and for that I'll give you a cookie because you clearly understand how much Last of Us 2 haters exaggerate. But no, the real answer is number 2. I'm guessing it's because he knew that no matter how much he exaggerates how bad it is, he just can't pull himself to put it at number 1 because he knows it's not number 1 bad. Once again, honestly, I could care less about whether or not someone puts Last of Us 2 at number 1 on their worst games list. But this specific one is really odd, because this is coming from a critic known for being strongly against companies doing shady shit to make big money. Guess how many broken, faulty, false marketing type games that arguably give you absolutely nothing for playing them were before Last of Us 2?
Fuck Madden! Madden and fuck FIFA. Literally fucking repackaged the last game, FIFA 20, and sold it again. That is literally what they say in the fucking game's official description. The extremely insane, exuberant prices demanded by the game for simple, digital, fucking worthless skins. But it just falls short, ultimately. Especially with the shitty ass servers constantly kicking us out of the game, incessant technical issues which would ruin our gameplay. The one times that we would have fun, it would be ruined. No one can argue with me that this game was a piece of shit when it came out on those original consoles, if they had bothered to fucking play. And just for that, it fully earns its spot on the worst games list. Hell, after being so damn disappointing, it probably earns the spot on just that alone. All I care about now is you guys fixing the game and fucking delivering the game that you promised. At which this point may not even be fucking possible if you actually research all the different things that they said it would be in this game. So many cut corners, so much lack of respect for your own fucking licenses, it's criminal. It was all bullshit. New visuals, remodeled characters, new features, and a story that would be retconned to fit the lore better. It sounded great, and you screwed it the hell up. And now you've got a shell of a game that's wasted. It's wasted its license, and hardly anyone wants to play it, and that's your fault. Hopefully, it can be a learning experience rather than the last serious big budget attempt. Otherwise, we're gonna be relegated to shitty movie licensed games forever! When you completely shit on the characters that we loved for so long, when you replace them with worse characters. When you treat your few new good characters like shit and misuse them even. When you leave everything in a worse place than before and make us not even give a shit about the license anymore. It's a bad fucking time, period, and a bad fucking game. What innovations did this sequel bring to the table? I mean, other than Abby's insane WWE Royal fucking Rumble gameplay. Nothing!
Even if you take out minor offenders like Predator Hunting Grounds, which is technically playable, there is still Cyberpunk, Warcraft 3 Reforged, and Avengers. 3 games that 90% of people will not gain anything from playing. That might be a bit controversial to say about that 3 though, because there is a fan base for them, especially Cyberpunk, even if it's small. So let's just say that he put FIFA/Madden before it. FIFA/Madden, the game series that are known to be complete garbage that you get absolutely nothing from playing other than you get to burn. You get to bjorn. FIFA/Madden, the game series that are known to be complete garbage that you get absolutely nothing from playing other than you get to bjorn a bigger hole in your pocket. At least Last of Us 2 actually gave you something. I mean, you'd think something is better than nothing, especially for someone that hates FIFA stuff this much. I mean, he literally put Valorant on his worst list, which would be very controversial, and it's because the skins for guns is ludicrously expensive. I don't disagree with him. It just seems very hypocritical to put Last of Us 2 at 2 for him, even though it at least didn't try to do all the BS that other games like Valorant try to pull with their microtransactions. All that Last of Us 2 tried to do was give you something engaging and interesting, and whether you liked it or not, you'd think that's better than a game that tries to sell the same game to you 5 times in a row. It makes me wonder where he lands on the political spectrum too, because it seems like the Last of Us 2 haters that hate it specifically because woman would do something like this because people try to act like Last of Us 2 is this political propaganda man-bad piece. I don't know, man. The hate for this game has gotten way out of hand if we are claiming we prefer garbage-nothing games that try and sell us their own doo-doo diarrhea over something that tries something new and fails at it. I just genuinely don't understand how your pure, unbridled hate for a game's story direction can be so fiery that you think it's worse than cash-grab, garbage-nothing games. I mean, hot take, I think Angry Joe is a shadow of his former self basically being lazy nowadays, but this led into the broader subject of the hate for Last of Us 2 being so volatile, it's actually insane. I honestly am really glad that Last of Us 2 won all those awards at the Game Awards, because with people like Joe having unparalleled hatred for this game, it just kinda balances out. If you want to know my thoughts on the game, it's... Whoa, a demon just came out of me. Hello, demon. Hey there, buddy. You like that little jokey joke? It was unscripted, so you know it's bad. Yeah, boy. Honestly, I think it's the kind of game that's great going into blind, but is also very risky, because if you know that you'll have to play the character that killed Joel, I think you'll be more open to the idea, and so when it happens, you may be more likely to stick with it to see where it goes. I know many quit after either Joel was killed, or after the characters switched and started playing as Abby, so it might lessen that blow if you already know that going into it. I knew about them both. So even though I actually genuinely didn't like Abby, I stuck it out to see where it went. Granted, I probably would've, even if I didn't, because I like to stick out stories like this to see where they go, especially if it's in a series I love like Last of Us. I understand why people don't like Abby too. It took a hot minute to warm up to Abby, but eventually I did. I think what makes Abby so interesting is that she is framed as this cold killer. She gets revenge, she kills people of a different faction, and then she moves on and doesn't really care. You get to see a bit more of her human side when you switch to her and meet her group and see that they are mostly normal people. You still probably hate her, but then, through certain circumstances, she is saved by 2 Scars who are the rival faction. The only reason she doesn't kill them is because they saved her, and as they journey together, they grow a strong bond that opens Abby up, and she becomes more human as she connects with these 2 kids, leading to her also saving their lives. I think this goes into one of the themes of the people you are close to affecting you, as part of the reason she was so cold-hearted is because all of her friends in her group encouraged her as she went further and further down this dark path of not feeling anything about killing other people. Now, granted, It's not like she doesn't feel anything at all. There are lines of dialogue where they basically, none of the people in the group got any sleep after what they did to Joel, but my point still stands. This is implied through many conversations in the game and even shown in cutscenes, like how all of them encouraged her to kill Joel slowly and painfully. I believe this is the distinct difference between Joel and Abby as well. A lot of times people compare Joel and Abby, but the difference is that Joel killed purely out of self-interest, as when he lost his daughter, he lost everything he truly cared about, and all that was left was himself. Even after meeting Ellie, he still kills out of self-interest, like how he kills everyone in the hospital at the end of the game so that they don't kill Ellie, which would supposedly make a cure and free everyone from the zombie-infected world. And before anyone says it, it's just indefensible. You might be like, oh, there's a chance that it may have not made a cure. If there's a chance it was going to make a cure, then that means that he doomed humanity. So sorry, that's just not a defense for Joel. What he did is indefensible. Anyways, tangent over, next, go, boom. Abby is shown as a loving, caring person at the beginning, but the difference is that she has a huge community of friends and family around her. After Joel kills her dad, what the people around her should have done was shown her love and support and made sure she got the mental help she needed. Instead, they encouraged and fueled the anger and hatred inside her and used it against their rival factions and turned her into an uncaring super soldier, basically. Then she finds 2 kids from the rival faction that are in the middle of all of this, who she only doesn't kill because they save her. These kids escaped their own faction because they weren't accepting of them, and obviously the other faction that Abby is in will shoot on sight and not have a care in the world. Then, like I said, as they travel together, they connect and grow a bond. I finally realized how much I had connected to Abby and her story when this cutscene happened and my heart broke for her.
Owen invited them to come to Santa Barbara.
That is very Owen. I figured you'd have talked him out of going by now.
Actually, I'm going with them. But not if you come.
What?
He may fall for your little act with these kids, but I don't.
There's nothing to fall for.
Isaac's top scar killer suddenly had a change of heart? Nothing to do with Owen, right?
I haven't always done the right thing.
You're a piece of shit, Abby. You always have been. I'm done with you. You want to do right by these kids? Get out of their lives before you screw them over too.
Fuck.
Abby?
Nice shirt.
This was one of Abby's childhood friends, one of the people that encouraged her to become a cold-killing machine, and yet she's now treating her like shit because she couldn't handle what she'd helped turn Abby into. This is why I feel for Abby. What happened is as much her fault as it is every single one of her friends, and if anything, even more their fault because they were horrible influences on her. As weird as it sounds, I believe that the moment when she chooses these 2 Scar kids over her friends feels like a victorious moment, because even though she is now killing all of her old friends to save them, she is now finally killing people for something she believes in, rather than for something she was brainwashed into believing in. She is also killing people to save people this time around, rather than killing people because she thinks they are trash, garbage, horrible, no good people that deserve death.
Look, we need to move. She's gone. Oh my god, she's gone. Come on. Those were your fucking people.
Hey, you're my people!
Listen to me. We're gonna have to fight to get out of this, okay? And then I need you to show us to those boats. We don't let anybody stop us. Yeah? Okay. Okay. Follow me.
Basically, I'm probably in the minority, but I think Abby's story was very impactful and just overall great. In fact, I think it was a lot better than Ellie's. I feel like this would have been better if it was just Abby, and the only connection to the first is that it's in the same universe. Then again, people would probably then get mad because we're recognizable face, me mad because new characters. I think they did bring Joel into it in a really good way though, because it's supposed to make you fully believe that Abby is the cold-hearted killing machine that her friends turned her into. So then, when you play her, you already have that notion in your mind as you watch her transform back into a more caring and loving person like before. Don't get me wrong, I do have problems with the story though, like how Jesse just gets freaking domed and there's no other reason than shock value. Or how it probably could have switched around some things and cut out the end part where Ellie goes back to beat her up some more. That just felt a little out of place. Other than that, I loved the gameplay. It was an absolute blast, and I don't really have much more to say about the gameplay because that's not really what most people have a problem with. Overall, though, I highly enjoyed it, and I give it a 9 out of 10, almost a masterpiece. Like Dunkley said, the first was more focused with a simpler premise, and the second had a grander narrative that's a bit messier. In fact, if you want to hear more of my extended thoughts, I basically agree with everything Dunky said, so go check out his video. It's great, and he's probably more concise than me anyways. If you're okay with watching a 5-hour video, I think Luke Stevens also did a pretty good video on why he enjoyed Last of Us 2, and I think he did a good job at trying to show how he understands that some didn't enjoy the game, as well as bringing up some things he also had problems with. I don't agree with everything he said, but it's still a great video on Last of Us 2 that I fully recommend, even if you didn't like Last of Us 2, and if you're into really long video essays like that. That's all really, I just wanted to make a video about how crazy the rage for this game is, especially even now, when you'd think the dust has kinda settled and people have calmed down a bit. Nope, somehow people still have a raging hate boner for this game just because they didn't like the direction the game went in. But anyways, I'll end off with this. If you're one of these people that have a raging hate boner just because you didn't like the game, like for the direction it went in, and you hated it so much that you're gonna put it below games that are literally just trash tier, garbage, nothing games that they only exist to take your money, you're kinda cringe.